After a neck-and-neck race, Harris conceded to Donald Trump this afternoon, making the 47th President of the United States Donald Trump.
A record of firsts for this year's election. Meet the candidates making history.
LA honors late Dodgers pitcher Fernando Valenzuela. See how family and fans are remembering his legacy and celebrating his life.
Annenberg TV News is next.
We must accept the results of this election. Earlier today, I spoke with President-elect Trump and congratulated him on his victory. I also told him that we will help him and his team with their transition, and that we will engage in a peaceful transfer of power.
After a close race between Vice President Harris and former President Trump, the road to 270 comes to an end as Harris concedes the election. Hi, I'm Dana Hammerstrom.
And I'm Gaby Medina. The 45th President of the United States, Donald Trump, is set to become the 47th.
As of tonight, the electoral count is 295 for former President Trump and 226 for Vice President Harris. Trump won most of the swing states, with only Nevada and Arizona remaining uncalled, though both states are leaning red. In a speech last night, Trump claimed a mandate, then thanked Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Elon Musk.
America has given us an unprecedented and powerful mandate. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., he came in. And he's going to help make America healthy again. A star is born, Elon.
This afternoon, Vice President Harris conceded the election at Howard University in front of thousands of supporters. She reminded them that she would continue to fight for a better future.
My heart is full today, full of gratitude for the trust you have placed in me, full of love for our country, and full of resolve. The outcome of this election is not what we wanted, not what we fought for, not what we voted for, but hear me when I say, the light of America's promise will always burn bright.
There were many emotions in the crowd, and many supporters were visibly upset. We talked to attendees about their own reactions to the speech and those that they witnessed.
The speech today at Howard had a message of moving forward, continuing to fight, and I believe it was the vice president who said something to the effect of in her speech today, that it's okay to feel a range of emotions about the outcome of this election, but she encouraged people to keep doing the work if that is what they so choose to.
Everybody's a little down, you know. A lot of people around me feel devastated about the situation. A lot of the women in my life feel devastated. However, you know, as I mentioned before, there's an immense sense of pride around the situation. We might have lost, but we saw how close we came, and we know that sooner or later we will get the victory in the end.
We also spoke to students right here on campus about their reaction to election results.
The Democrats really dropped the ball on this one, and they need to do a lot better. I'm a Mexican American. You know, there's no reason why Trump should be making inroads among Latinos.
I just think that for all the Dems out there, we have to keep fighting for stuff, because even though the election's over, the fight's not over, especially for women's rights, and we need to be working on the economy. We actually did better as a country, not under his leadership, in multiple different aspects, and Trump, with his tariffs and all this stuff, is going to be horrible for the country. The middle class and the lower class families are going to suffer.
I used to live in Pennsylvania, so actually when my county was one of the top ones that was being debated. I'm just overall appalled and disgusted by our country, and for choosing again someone who has 34 felony counts, is a rapist and misogynist instead of a black woman. I think that just says so much.
I say, honestly, I'm just trying to be really faithful at the moment. I feel like there's only so much that we can do, but I think because of this election, we have to really do what we can do to make sure that our rights are not taken away.
Students say they want to continue to fight for their rights and hold the president-elect accountable.
Moving now to the U.S. Senate and House seats, let's check in with Zain for the latest on those races. Zain?
Thank you, Gaby. It's good to be here on the desk with you guys, and welcome to the conversation with me, your host, Zain Kahn. Today, it's all about which party controls Congress. There are 44 undecided races in the House of Representatives. However, voters handed President-elect Donald Trump a Republican-controlled Senate. The Democrats, who were in control of the Senate, lost 3 seats, with Republicans making gains in West Virginia, Ohio, and Montana. West Virginia was a landslide victory for Jim Justice, with relatively closer margins in Montana and Ohio. Republican Bernie Moreno flipped the seat from incumbent Sherrod Brown by 6 points. In Montana, Republican Tim Sheehy beat the incumbent Jon Tester by almost 10 points. The races in Pennsylvania and Nevada are still too close to call, while in Arizona, Democrat Ruben Gallego is expected to defeat Trump supporter Kari Lake.
All right, Zain, well, we know the outcome has not been called in Arizona yet. Why is that? You were there, you reported there. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, I mean, well, really quickly, to simply put, it's still too close to call. Yes, President Trump is at 52% and Harris is at 47%, but that's only about 60% of the total votes that's in. We still have 40% of the vote to go through. And mind you, we're talking about Maricopa County as well. It's the largest, most influential county in the state, if not the country. And it's a key factor, especially because when you consider the county is divided, 1/3 Democrats, 1/3 Republicans, 1/3 independents. So it could go either way. But even though the election has been determined, it's very interesting to see who's going to win Arizona, especially because if Harris does win it, she might not win the presidency. She won't be winning the presidency, but she will be only the 3rd Democrat to win it since 1948, Biden being the one who won it in 2020.
It's interesting that we're still so concerned with Arizona, considering the election has been called. I'm kind of curious about, both campaigns worked so hard to appeal to a lot of different demographics. Can you kind of talk us through the turnout that ended up?
I mean, they're totally right. Yes, both campaigns have worked hard. Like, you saw the TikTok trends, and then you also saw the podcast fevers that went up. We saw candidates go to different extents to sort of reach to the different voters. And I think, to simply put it, Trump has overperformed in a few communities. Yeah, he's exceedingly performed well in the white male community, which is about getting him 60% of the votes. And then finally, the Latino community is something that we definitely should look at, given that he has performed with a dramatic increase of 55% compared to 36%. So all of that combined with the younger voters, definitely that's been interesting to see how the demographics have played out of it. But for now, that's all I have for you at the desk, and I'll see you next week at the conversation.
Thank you, Zain. And speaking of that demographic, there are some historic firsts at the state level following the election. New Jersey's Andy Kim will be the first Korean American in the U.S. Senate. He will also be the 3rd youngest member when he takes office.
From a movement that nobody believed would win to one that is bringing my voice, your voice, to the highest levels of our great democracy. I just have to say how incredible of an experience that this is. And I want to ask you, are you proud of what we built?
Delaware also made history by electing Sarah McBride as the first openly transgender person in the House of Representatives. Delaware's Lisa Blunt Rochester and Maryland's Angela Also Brooks will be the first Black women to represent their state in the U.S. Senate. It's the first time 2 Black women will serve in the Senate at the same time. The new lawmakers will be sworn in on January 3rd.
A hot button issue for many voters during this election cycle was reproductive rights. When the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, it threw decisions back to the states. Many voters faced choices about regulating abortion. 10 states had abortion access on the ballot. Abortion protections passed in 7 of the states. The 3 states where abortion did not pass were Florida, South Dakota, and Nebraska. These election results left USC students with questions about the future of reproductive rights.
There's uncertainty. I think from what I've just been reading, he says that his plan is to just leave it to the states and try and not do more than what he has done, because he has definitely done stuff already. And we'll see how that holds up. I think there'll probably be states that are more bold to enact stricter laws around it now that he is in charge and he can back them up on it.
I know that the Senate and House has become Republican majority, so that's something that slightly concerns me. I know that a lot of people are really concerned and worried right now, which everyone definitely has a right to, especially considering how Roe v. Wade got overturned. That was something that obviously it shook the entire nation.
For Florida, South Dakota, and Nebraska, this was the first abortion measure to fail since Roe v. Wade was overturned in 2022.
Today, Los Angeles celebrated the life of the legendary Dodgers pitcher Fernando Valenzuela. Mourners filled the rows at the Cathedral of Our Lady of the Angels this morning for Fernando Valenzuela's funeral. The Mexican-American pitcher became a Dodger in 1981. He won Rookie of the Year and the Cy Young Award and sparked Fernando Mania among fans. He led the Dodgers to more than 170 wins and was a 6-time All-Star.
Look around. A lot of people came, and I'm sure a lot of people would have liked to be here with him paying respects. I think that he is someone who's always done good things for Mexican baseball and for Latino baseball in general. That's what matters, right? That he's resting, and the only thing to do now is remember him.
Many die-hard Dodgers fans came to pay their respects. They wore team caps and Valenzuela's jersey and waved flags to honor his memory. The star pitcher died of undisclosed causes shortly before his team won the World Series. A Los Angeles group calls for action to end the school-to-prison pipeline.
Nathan Hochman is set to become the next district attorney of Los Angeles. We'll hear from the new DA next.
And later, a look at the forecast as we cozy up for sweater weather.
Let me tell you how we amplify our Latina voices. Check out Dímelo. We have it all.
Deportes.
Entertainment. Noticias. ¿Qué tal? Soy Mariela Gómez y bienvenidos a Dime la Hora.
Radio and podcasting.
Comida y cultura. Digital social media.
¿A qué equipo le vas tú? LA Galaxy o LAFC? Dímelo is the only Latina-focused media outlet at USC. Dímelo. We have it all.
Dímelo. We have it all.
Next to my big friend, I love the big taste of chocolate in this little Hershey's Kiss.
Hershey's Kisses, the little kiss with the big taste.
This morning, Billy looked like any other boy, but as the moon rose, he turned into a werewolf. He used new Pa's Halloween makeup kits. His friends did too. Look, Mike's a vampire. Amy's a ghost. Pa's makeup is safer than masks. It never blocks vision, and it's hypoallergenic too. So watch your kids turn into the creatures they really are with new Pa's Halloween makeup kits.
The Youth Justice Coalition is calling for LA County to release girls and gender-expansive youth being held in juvenile halls.
We don't need no damn cages, and I'm speaking as an organizer with Black Lives Matter Los Angeles, an organizer with Black Lives Matter Grassroots, as a professor, but I'm also speaking as a one-time, I was a girl who was snatched up when I was 15 years old and put in a cage.
In yesterday's election, California Prop 36 passed, which will increase penalties for repeated drug and theft offenses. This affects incarcerated young people that organizations like Youth Justice Coalition are fighting to improve conditions for.
We need to do a lot of political education in our communities. In order to do that, we need resources. And we need Youth Justice Reimagined to be funded so that communities doing this work on the ground every day to build alternatives to incarceration and criminalization can cook, and to give us the resources to let us do what we do best, because right now young people are suffering under probation abuse.
We offered a legal clinic. That's what helped me get free, actually. So you could come and get court support. You could come and get help with your case. You could have people go to court with you.
Youth Justice Coalition hopes that juvenile halls are shut down. In the meantime, they'll keep providing resources to prevent the school-to-prison pipeline.
And speaking of those propositions, now on to a hotly contested race that we've been following for months, the Los Angeles County DA race. Challenger Nathan Hochman defeated George Gascon by 61 to 39%. Gascon has held office for 4 years, and people have accused him of being soft on crime. Gascon, the progressive incumbent, conceded the election earlier this morning. DA-elect Hochman ran on a tough-on-crime platform while promising to continue the crackdown on police misconduct.
I'm so looking forward to the opportunity to be your partner in going after criminals in the most fair, impartial, and consistent way we can possibly do it. We will go ahead and get back in the business of justice, making crimes illegal again.
Votes are still being counted for 2 controversial California propositions. Prop 6 calls for the repeal of a provision allowing involuntary servitude as a punishment for crime. 55% of voters were against repealing it. Right now, the proposition does not have enough votes to pass. Prop 36 looks to have a majority of yes votes. It would increase the penalties for drug and theft crimes. Experts we spoke to say that props are often confusing, and many voters across the country are supportive of cracking down on crime.
Ridiculous things can end up on the ballot, and they often do. It can mean that the things that end up on the ballot are worded in certain ways that may be deceptive, but they still qualify.
People really don't like crime, irrespective of the nature of the crime. And the U.S. in particular is very eager to incarcerate, even over-incarcerate for crimes.
More Latino men voted for former President Trump in this election than in his 2020 race against President Biden. One political expert said gender played a role.
There was just one of the leading Latino radio talk show hosts in the country, was on MSNBC. And he said that his show was deluged by calls from Latino men who said, I can't vote for her, she's a woman. We just can't trust a woman with this job.
According to exit polls in 2020, about 36% of Latino men voted for Trump, while in this election, that number rose to 54%. Latino men were one of the many demographics who increased their support of the former President Trump in this election cycle. And right now, we are going to toss it over to Makayla with the weather. Makayla, tell us about that sweater weather.
Sure can. Sure can, Gaby. Sure can, Gaby. Welcome to Weather with Mac. I'm your host, Makayla Idelburg. And like you said, sweater weather, I apparently missed the memo. I'm wearing short sleeves. And honestly, today's conditions, as you can see, are pretty cloudy. So to start my graphic here, it is cloudy weather out there following election night. We have today's current conditions are 64 degrees with a 16% humidity. Let's see if that continues for the rest of the week. Now, it's not pictured here, but we also have a couple of advisories out for Los Angeles. We have a red flag weather advisory, which means fire weather across the Los Angeles Basin, which is presumed to end tomorrow at 6 p.m. Now, tomorrow we have sunny weather all throughout the week, but tomorrow for Thursday, we have 73 degrees for a high and a 45-degree low. Now, that trend continues for Friday and Saturday in the 70s and then in the low 40s, but then it bumps up actually a little bit in the lows on Sunday and Monday. Those bump up to the 50s, but again, that trend continues in the 70s, with Sunday having a high of 76 and Monday having a high of 70. Now, bringing it back with those fire warnings that are advised for tomorrow, make sure you guys be safe and stay safe out there. Back to sports.
No football game this weekend, but Lincoln Riley and the Trojans just can't stay out of the news. Women's soccer is headed to the Big Ten tournament semifinals. And men's basketball officially tipped off its season with a win, but can they carry that momentum into tomorrow's game?
That sounded like a wolf! And it's getting closer!
Peekaboo!
Count Chocula! Did you hear a wolf?
It was Wolfie, howling for the 2 new marshmallows in my Count Chocula cereal. The lovely chocolatey part of his complete breakfast.
2 new marshmallows?
Yes, the new full moon and chocolate wolf marshmallows make Count Chocula a howling delight.
For a limited time, you can try the full moon and chocolate wolf marshmallows inside new shiny boxes of Count Chocula.
Wow, Millhouse, that frozen black cherries turned your tongue black. My tongue's black too.
Ooh, let me try.
Hey,
Let's have black tongue.
This Halloween, the Simpsons are at Burger King. Now in every big kid's meal you can get a Simpsons spooky light up. They gleam, there is scream, and you can collect all 15 at Burger King. Where else?
This Halloween, Blockbuster Video has a special treat for your whole family. You can take home any of these great Halloween classics for just $7.99. Or rent 2 movies and get them for $3.99. Now, if that's not a reason to scream, what is? Make it a Blockbuster fright.
Welcome back to ATVN Sports. I'm Riley Sager.
And I'm Ben Cohen. Well, America chose new leaders yesterday, and so too did Lincoln Riley at USC. Riley confirmed yesterday at practice that sophomore transfer Jaden Mayava would take over for Miller Moss as the team's starting quarterback. The news came following a tough 3-interception performance from Moss at Washington this weekend. We asked students how they feel about the switch.
I'm honestly pretty surprised, but given how disappointing the season's been so far, I think something had to change. And so if this is what gets the team going, not only this season, but into next season, build some momentum, probably a good idea.
I think it's about time. We've been waiting we've given him opportunities after opportunities this season. We started off strong, but we're seeing the same pattern happen over and over again, where we finally are playing in the first half and then lose it in the second half the same way every single time, and something has to change, and it's Miller Moss.
I think it's crazy, honestly. I don't see why. He got good numbers. He do got negative rushing yards, but for me, quarterbacks ain't supposed to run the ball anyway.
Mayava adds a new dynamic to USC's offense with his running ability, as he showed at UNLV last season. He had 20 total touchdowns to 10 interceptions, which led the Rebels to their first winning season and bowl game since 2013. Earlier this season, the Hawaii native flashed his potential with an elusive scramble for a touchdown against Utah State, giving some students hope for the future of Trojan football.
I'm excited to see the new quarterback play. I'm more excited about our future than the rest of the season because now we're not making the playoffs anymore. I don't know, it's kind of bummed because, I think we had all the weapons to do it. We were so close so many times against Michigan, against Penn State. We should have totally won that game. So not as pumped for the rest of the season, but pumped for the future.
Honestly, I was not looking forward to the rest of the season. It was just loss after loss, same thing every week. And I was trying to sell my tickets. Again, no one wants to buy them. But now maybe I will go check out the game.
Well, Riley, do you think it was the right call to bench Miller Moss and go to Mayava?
The season's a wash, but that's what needed to happen. I'm surprised we didn't see Mayava earlier in the season. Maybe like a package with him and Moss, especially last weekend against Washington. You have the #1 pass defense in the country, and you have Miller Moss throw the ball 50 times. It doesn't really make sense. We'll have to see how it plays out next weekend against Nebraska, but for now, it had to be done. Women's soccer is making a statement in the first season of the Big Ten Conference. The #4 ranked Trojans defeated #9 UCLA last month to claim the conference title and are now making their way through the Big Ten tournament. The team pulled off an overtime win against Ohio State on Monday to advance to tomorrow's semifinals. After 90 minutes of scoreless play, freshman forward Jaden Anderson kicked in the goal that claimed victory for the Trojans. USC is on the road again tomorrow to face Rutgers in St. Louis. The Scarlet Knights claim the other spot in the semis after sending home number 16 Michigan State. With a potential championship match on the line against either UCLA or Northwestern, it's win or go home. Men's basketball is officially underway. It's been smooth sailing for the Trojans early in their season with a home opener win against Chattanooga on Monday. Chibuzo Abo led the team in scoring with 14 points, and Matt Knowling followed behind with 13. Knowling shot perfectly from the field, going 6 for 6 for the Trojans. Head coach Eric Musselman spoke on Knowling's role after the game.
But I really wanted to bring our reliever in, Matt Knowling, because I kind of look at him like a closer, and I knew how comfortable I would be going to the bench. Hopefully I don't have to start Matt, because I love calling his name, bringing him out of the pen and having him, do some damage.
The Trojans are back at Galen Center tomorrow for their second of 6 home games to start the season. They'll face off against Idaho State, which is fresh off a loss against Arizona State last night. That's all for this week's ATVN Sports. I'm Riley Sager.
And I'm Ben Cohen. Gaby, what's next in entertainment?
Thanks, guys. Well, don't change the channel. We'll be talking about Channel Orange singer Frank Ocean next on ATVN.
Presenting sheer madness, Circuit City's Midnight Madness Sale. Wednesday only till midnight. Circuit City will go raving mad with shocking reductions on hundreds of items. Wednesday only, this Sony 19-inch color TV with remote control, just $397. Save on this JVC compact disc player, just $198. Circuit City's Midnight Madness Sale. Get there by midnight before the curtain falls.
What? There's something under the bed. I heard something. There's nothing under the bed. I heard something. See, look. It's just Fluffy. He got scared by a dumb cat. I wasn't scared. I told you there was nothing under the bed.
Burger Chef, it's Wolfburger the werewolf.
Where can I get delicious burgers? Where can I get fun food? Where, oh where?
At Burger Chef.
Where? And now at participating Burger Chefs, you can buy fun meals that now come on Halloween magic meal trays. There's a magic trick in each fun meal. There are 10 different magic meal tricks you can collect.
Burger Chef, you're incredible.
Taking a break from politics, welcome back to our segment On the Radar, where we bring you all things entertainment that we're on the lookout for. Dana, what do you have for me?
Well, because it's my first On the Radar, I thought I would come out strong. I actually went to the movies over the weekend. I love going to the movies. I saw We Live in Time. Maybe not the best movie to see in public. It was pretty sad.
Yeah, wow. Well, I know that has Florence Pugh and Andrew Garfield, and those are
does.
standout people for me, so I will be hitting the theaters to watch that.
It was also A24, which I love.
You know, Dana, speaking of A24, I have Frank Ocean news for you.
Seems too good to be true.
That's because it is, and it's not an album. It is a feature film coming up, and it is set to star Taylor Russell, who starred alongside Timothée Chalamet in Bones and All. And I think it's just really cool that all these musicians are starting to enter the film space, and we should go together to the movies.
Probably should. Well, thank you so much for watching Annenberg TV News. From everyone here at Annenberg Media, I'm Dana Hammerstrom.
And I'm Gaby Medina. For more coverage, watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Annenberg Media. Please remember to take care of yourselves, and good night.